Hey friends, how's it going? Well, welcome back. It is Thursday. It's a really clear, beautiful day outside here in the gym city, gym of the foothills. And yeah, we're burning a few things. It's actually going to be kind of a warm day, so I'm out here just before it gets really picante, before it gets too warm. Yeah, we're having some unseasonably warm weather all of a sudden out of nowhere, but it's California and it's going to swing and be California. While the rest of this country is under snow and in blizzard conditions. Oh, so you noticed. Yes. We're burning our Dietz Blizzard. This is our earliest Dietz Blizzard that I've had so far. And this is, I would consider, a second generation Dietz Blizzard. And I'm burning this for a specific reason. We're going to talk about Cold Blast, but I have something to share I haven't unboxed yet, so you guys get an unboxing video this week. I know. That's right. You guys are going to see something very unique and very special. Some of you already probably know what it is because I've already mentioned it in the group. However, some of you are not on Facebook for obvious reasons. And you will get to see this firsthand as I open it. But we're going to get into it. There's a reason I'm burning this, but I'm not going to divulge that quite yet. But we're going to talk about Cold Blast just for a brief moment here. So bear with me. Get that cup of coffee, whatever you choose to sip on, a little snack, or even a smoke if you wish. And we're going to talk about Cold Blast for just a minute here. Now, I've mentioned Cold Blast many times on the channel, and people have often wondered, like, well, it's such a superior design, you get a brighter flame and all this stuff. Like, why didn't they just make those from the word go? Well, evolution is a real thing in so many ways now. You know, somebody sitting there trying to design an air delivery system to a lamp probably didn't think of the Cold Blast design right off the bat. They were just trying to figure things out in the 1860s, and so when the first tubular lantern was patented was in 1868, somewhere around there, or 67, I think. But you had Chicago and Dietz and Smith and several other stamping companies that were all trying to patent and design a tubular lantern. Well, those were all hot blasts, of course. That was the first design that came out, was a hot blast. Correct. And, well, it wasn't until C.T. Ham started their company in 1886, right around there, that he started experimenting with the Cold Blast design. That's right, it was Charles Trafton Ham, C.T. Ham, that's right. He started experimenting with other designs and creating different patents for his product line. And the Cold Blast, which is this, with the baffle and the collapsible chimney with the spring-loaded chimney and stuff, that this is what we call a Cold Blast because it collects fresh air from through these vents and under the baffle and through the different vents in the baffle and the chimney, and it circulates through these air tubes to the manifold down here. And that's how the Cold Blast design works, and it gets all fresh air, and all the combusted air goes right out the top. Okay? Hot blast, like this guy, it collects fresh air through the smoke bell and goes up around these tubes to the manifold, and it burns a combination of fresh air and pre-combusted air. That's why they're a little dimmer, because they're using some pre-combusted air, stale air, if you will, mixed with fresh. That's the hot blast. So Cold Blast is using all fresh, cold air, and that's why it's a little brighter. And they do get hotter, though. Yes, they do, and they drink fuel just a little bit faster than a hot blast. These are a little more efficient. But anyways, when did Dietz start making the Cold Blast design? Well, C.T. Ham, as I mentioned, started it pretty early, right around the 1890s, early 90s. We start seeing Cold Blast designs coming out, like similar models to the Ham 20 searchlight, certain dash lanterns and stuff like that. I've seen some pretty early pin lift CT Ham Cold Blast. Now, I used to have a CT Ham pin lift Cold Blast from 1895 or 96, right around there. Had the rolled soldered tubes with the the elbow patches and stuff, the inside patches on the air tubes, and it was a great lantern, very historic, very unique, and very rare. Those early Ham cold blasts are not easy to find. I sold it to another collector. I had my fun with it, and I sold it to another collector, and it's okay. I enjoyed that lantern for what it was, but it wasn't hitting me as much as I wanted it to. It was nicely restored. It was a beautiful antique, but I like them more like this. I like them with a little story to tell, a little patina and stuff like that. You all know how I like my lanterns. You do. That's right. But this thing here, this is a second generation Dietz Blizzard, and yes, it has a colored globe, and it kind of looks ruby, but it's a flashed color globe. And in reality, and what I see is more of an amber, kind of an orange color profile, because the color changed or wasn't a good mixture when they applied the flash color. So it's almost like a root beer more so than a ruby. But it's a nice globe, and it was a surprise because I bought it in a CT Ham cold blast off of eBay back in, oh goodness, that was 2019, 2020, somewhere around there. And it was a copper fount CT Ham, late 1910s, right around there. No, it was early 1910s. It had an inside lift, crosswire guards. So it was 1909, 1910, right around there. But copper fount, and I enjoyed that lantern for a bit, and I sold it, but I kept the globe. But I got that lantern for very cheap. But I could tell it had a marked globe. I'm like, oh, maybe that's a ruby globe that says Ham or something. I thought it was a marked Ham globe, but then I got it, saw it said Dietz Cold Blast Blizzard. I'm like, oh, and so I posted about it on the group there, and Lantern Joe, he's like, oh, well, that's a very early Blizzard globe, very rare. He's like, I have a lantern for it, so he sends me a picture of this thing, and he's like, this is early outside lift Dietz Blizzard. This is what that globe would go into. I'm like, oh, okay. So we worked out a deal, and I got the lantern, and I traded him a lantern for it, and so I got the piece, and this was in 2020, and then I put this globe into this frame, and it's just beautiful. I love it. I also have a clear example of the same globe, but I was under the impression this was the first generation of Dietz Blizzard, but then I started looking at other sources and realized that this is the second, right around the second. It has 4 slots on top of the baffle. Okay. 4 slots on top of the baffle. That's early. Has the little brass pull ring there, and the outside lift. Generous skirt, soldered in bottom. Yeah, 1900, right around there. This would be definitely the very first generation, Dietz Blizzard. Dietz Blizzard came around right about 1900, not much before or after that. But there was one version that came before this. And what is that, my friends? What do you ask this? What makes this not the first? Well, this is a detail a lot of guys overlook. Yeah, some very seasoned collectors seem to always overlook this detail. But look at the crosswire guards. Look at that. See how they fold over and they're crimped to the inside of the globe plate? This design came after 1900. That's right. After 1900. Now, how do you know? What makes that later, you ask? Well, let me show you. I will show you. Now I have something here that's from 1898. And this style of globe plate lasted to just, I would say, 99 to early 1900. But it's this style, where the globe guard wires are soldered underneath the globe plate. See that? They come down and they have a clip here. See that little clip? We've all seen this. That's how it was. So 1898 and earlier, when they have a crosswire guard, they were soldered into the bottom of the globe plate. That's right. This is my 98 Victor, which I adore. It's a beautiful piece. A wonderful lantern. Anyways, I seen pictures of what would classify as the very first, Dietz Blizzard, and they had those globe guards with the clip in the center and also the wires soldered underneath the globe plate. I had a Dietz Royal from about 1899, 1900 with the same globe plate and globe guards. But I've not seen a Blizzard. I've seen pictures of Blizzards, some shared on the group, that were that way. And I says, that's technically the first Blizzard that they made in 1900. Soldered in bottom, globe guards going under the globe plate soldered in. That's right. So we're bringing our second generation Blizzard for a very special reason. Sorry, we have another addition to the family. It's going to be a bit of a project. That's right, we got a box right here. So we're going to open this thing here and we're going to get into it. That's right, friends, you're seeing this as it's happening. Well, oh, come on. And you're going to see this thing with me for the first time. Yeah. Aren't you lucky? Aren't you lucky? Yeah. Alright. Came in a diaper box. Alright, well, this looks like a decent packing job. Alright. Set those there. Alright. Now, this is going to be a bit of a project, so I'm sorry to say that it's not going to be a turnkey lantern here, but we will inspect it. Oh wow, this is a good packing job actually. I'm very impressed. Wow. All right. Now look at here. Pretty dusty, pretty dirty, pretty grimy. I have fears, but let's hope that they didn't dust it off because it looked rusty. Okay, it's going to be a project, but we'll see how much of a project it is. Okay, all right. There wasn't a lot of pictures to this, so I kind of took a gamble on it. Yeah, took a gamble on it. Oh dear. I think we're in trouble. Shoot. Yeah. It's going to be a crispy critter. We could do some surgical removal here. Crap on a cracker. Oh man. Oh, whew. Yeah, this is really bad. Really bad. Okay, well. Oof. This thing's not happy. No. Oh, it's really not happy, is it? Okay, well, here we are. This is the first generation Dietz Blizzard, friends. That's right. First generation. And it has the globe guards that go underneath the globe plate. See? But, as you can see, that the globe plate is not in great shape. It is compromised. The plate is, a lot of it's gone. So yeah, and there's holes in the tubes, in the shoulders, it's missing the bail and the little pull ring. But it's still fairly strong, except for the globe plate. But those things do tend to go. Oh, it does have the fuel cap, and it's on there pretty good. It doesn't have a burner. Friends, it has no burner. Now that could be actually a blessing here. Ooh. No burner, but the globe plate is really bad, friends. It's bad. And that's one of the reasons why I got this thing, is because it had the early globe plate. Well, I didn't spend a lot of money. No, I didn't. I did not spend a lot of money on this thing. And it's high miles. It's high miles, and of course it's got a fits all. It's not surprising. Let's see if I can remove this and inspect things a little bit more. Alright, so you see how the globe plate looks, right? See how the globe wires go underneath and hook in there? You see one that's still like that, but this thing is Swiss cheese. Yeah, it is. It is. So, I don't recall it looking this bad in the pictures on eBay, but now here's the weird thing. That's not a brass burner cone. No, the original is brass. Should be brass. That's very rusty, like a steel one. Yes, it is. Let's take a look. Get my flashlight here. Oh dear. Don't look so good in there. Air tube. And it's got a hole there. And the bottom has been replaced, friends. That's a replaced bottom. It should look like the one right here. So that fount is probably trashed, since there's no burner in there. And this thing obviously looks like it was left outside for dead. That cone, that's not the correct cone, because like I said, it should be brass. Like this one. This one's brass. This is original. Gee whiz. Well, I wish I had better news, guys, but I will try and clean this up as best as I can. And, or maybe I'll just do a very light. I might not even touch it. I may not even touch it. I might just, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but let's see if I can get the cap off. But yeah, it's so sad because this is a very rare blizzard. And I would love to be able to resurrect it and burn it, but, that might not be an option here. Yeah, it didn't take much. Because this is brass. There's the fuel cap. There, okay. What horrors. Ooh, of course there's a wick in there. A wick, but no burner. Or maybe that's some kind of critter's hideaway. I don't know. Hard to say. Well, the globe is a fits-all. It's dirty, and it will go into a high-low that I have that's aged. But I do have a globe for this thing. A dirty Blizzard globe right here. Let's see here. This is first generation globe. Well, early generation, I'd say. Block letter, just like that one, but clear. And it is dirty too. I don't know if I'm going to try and get this thing resurrected. Some of you guys might be like, oh, you should. Well, the globe plate, one of the most identifying aspects of this lantern is shot. Sorry, didn't mean to shake the camera and close the door that way to the cabinet, but it's shot. Literally, figuratively, completely toast. Now, is it repairable? No, it's not. I would need to get another globe plate and then punch holes in it for the globe guards, which would be very difficult to fix. But I could send this to Lantern Joe, and he could do his thing and repair the air tubes and the fount and put the correct burner on it, and then the globe plate, do some globe plate fix maintenance, and also put the correct ring on top. And it will take a lot of time and money to get this thing back in order. Now, would that be worth it since it's a first gen? Possibly. Everything else seems to be very sturdy. It's not that it's fairly sturdy. It is. So let's see here. Let's just have some fun here. There's some remnants of the globe plate that still can be, And, I mean, just imagine that. Look, there you go. And that's the proper globe for it. It's old dirty. It looks kind of neat that way, I think. Well, it is the first. That's the second. There you go. Yeah. Because in the pictures, it didn't look that bad. The globe plate looked like it was intact. But, packing, shipping, all that stuff, it probably caused what was already tissue paper to finally fail. And you know, the pictures were not all that great anyway, so you know, we took a gamble, but it wasn't that much. It really wasn't. It was pretty, considering the price, it was worth the shot. Because you don't see these. You don't see the very first generation Blizzards come up. The other identifying detail that separates this from this is the chimney. See how there's a groove in the chimney? That's an identifying detail to first generation Blizzards. That's right. And some people say that it would say number 2 Cold Blast instead of Blizzard. There's been some discussion I've had with the Kirkmans, and they've said that the very first Cold Blast that Dietz offered said number 2 Cold Blast before they used the Blizzard name, but I can't say that's yay or nay. I don't want to challenge them. They know what they're talking about. But yeah, this thing has been tenderized. It's seen much better days, but then again, it's 126, 27 years old. Yeah, so should I try and save it? Well, some of it's out of my league. Now, if I had a glow plate like this, that's not that hard, but I'll have to find a number 2 Cold Blast glow plate that doesn't have wire guards on it. So if I do, then I could punch holes and put these globe guards in there and do the same thing, right? Right. So there were number 2 Cold Blast dash lanterns that there was Blizzards. They don't have globe plate. They don't have globe guards on it. So if I can find one of those and put that on there, I could probably, you know, put these globe wires onto that. I could. Yes, that would be doable. But it's just finding one that's in good shape, that's still kind of aged, you know. Well, it looks cool. It might be a shelf sitter. It might be okay. It might be a shelf sitter because I would have to replace the tubes. A lot of work. A lot of work. But we'll see. We're not in a hurry to make this thing burn. It doesn't even have a burner. So, you know, yeah. But anyways, it wasn't expensive. It's not the biggest thing, but it looks cool just as it is. So I might just enjoy it just sitting here. I mean, it is the first generation, but we'll see. Anyways, friends, sorry it wasn't better news, but hey, we had fun. Right? We had fun. We got something cool, something early, and I got a globe out of the deal, and then until I figure out what I'm going to do with it, I do have another fuel cap that I could use on something else. But yeah, this globe plate is very sad. It's toast. Yeah, all intents and purposes, it's toast. But who knows? There might be some surprises left in this old thing, and maybe I can get it if I could get a, you know, get the fount sealed or something. It's really rusty in there. It's really bad. But I'll have to try and get the cone off. If I could do it, I might not need to replace the globe plate. Just kind of nurse it back to health and get it burning. Do a revival type of video. But I'm not going to worry about it right now. No, I got this thing to burn and enjoy. It's a beautiful Blizzard, you know. Yeah, it's true. But anyways, first, second, there you go. A little Blizzard history on a warm California afternoon. But thanks for joining me, guys. Thanks for tuning in. It is a project. We'll keep it on the back burner. There's no pressing urgency to get this thing fired up. And as I said, I might even just leave it the way it is and just put that on, dust it off a little bit, and make it so it's not such a rolling, rusty, crusty thing where I shake it and things fall out of it. You know, I might make it a little cleaner just to, you know, put it in the house as a display piece, because it is kind of, you know, it's first generation. It's, you know, it has a lot of things going on here, so it might not be worth saving in that regard. However, we will figure that out. I'll give it a thought and see if I should send it to Joe if he wants to take it on and repair it to function and do a soft repair on it. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But anyways, it's a fun piece. It's neat to say I actually have a first generation. Yeah. And we'll go from there. Well, okay, guys. That's going to do it for me today. Thanks again for tuning in. And thanks for continuing to watch this channel. And I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate all the messages I received on Facebook and all that. Thanks, guys, for trusting me with your time and your lantern journey. Because, let's be fair, there's not a whole lot out there to know about these things that you could read about. And I would say the best resource for old tubular lanterns is definitely the Tubular Lantern Collectors Group that's ran by the Kirkmans on Facebook, or Lantern Joe's group, Antique Lantern, or there's also Wick Outlaws, and there's also Buy Sell Trade Tubular Lanterns. There's a few groups on Facebook that have a lot of information. A lot of seasoned collectors are out there too, and a lot of them are pretty happy to share their knowledge and help other people learn as well. So, but I get messages from some of you guys with questions about certain lanterns that you're considering to buy. Always happy to help out and answer some of the questions you have. So, yes, I'm one of your sources on YouTube for tubular lantern content, as well as Ken with his channel, and he does a great job over there. And there's a few of us still that are doing antique lantern content on YouTube. But anyways, thanks again for continuing this journey with me. And we do have fun, and there's some things to be had and said about this hobby. But all that will do it for me this week. And you guys take it easy, and we will see you next week with another video. That's right. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you then. All right. Bye-bye. Sit, Boo Boo, sit. Good dog.